The morning sun had barely risen over the vast expanse of the Arabian Sea when the U.S. Navy cargo ship USS Liberty Star began its routine voyage, transporting critical supplies to support Allied operations in the region. It was supposed to be a standard mission, one that carried logistical importance but rarely stirred drama. The crew was experienced, disciplined, and accustomed to the monotony of open water. But on that fateful day, something far more dangerous than rough seas awaited them. The ship cut through calm waters, its engines humming steadily. Crew members busied themselves with checks, communications, and navigation, unaware that far beyond the horizon, a group of heavily armed pirates had been tracking the vessel for hours. These weren't ordinary criminals seeking a quick payday. Intelligence later revealed they were part of a sophisticated network financed by shadowy figures with interest in destabilizing U.S. operations. They had studied the ship's route, calculated its vulnerabilities, and waited for the perfect moment to strike. At first, the lookouts noticed nothing unusual. A speck appeared on the radar, a small fishing vessel, common in these waters. But within minutes, the fishing boat was joined by two more, approaching from different directions. Their speeds were too fast, their maneuvers too precise. The officer on deck issued an alert, and instantly, the calm atmosphere shifted to one of tension. The crew scrambled to their stations, weapons were readied, and alarms echoed throughout the vessel. The captain knew what was coming, but the pirates had already closed the gap. The attack began with deafening chaos. The small pirate skiffs roared toward the cargo ship, their engines screaming, carrying men armed with assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades. They fired warning shots into the air, their shouts carried by the wind. The pirates hurled grappling hooks onto the hull, attempting to scale the sides. The Navy crew responded with defensive fire, trying to repel the assault without damaging their own cargo or risking detonation of sensitive supplies on board. The clash of bullets and ricochets against steel filled the air, a brutal symphony of survival. The pirates, emboldened and ruthless, managed to breach the deck in one sector. Within moments, the ship was embroiled in close-quarters combat. Sailors fought hand-to-hand, using every ounce of their training. Smoke grenades exploded, creating clouds of cover, while both sides scrambled for dominance. The pirates were desperate. They had been promised millions if they succeeded in seizing the ship, but they underestimated the resolve of the Navy crew. As the battle raged, the captain sent out a distress signal. The U.S. Fifth Fleet, stationed not far away, immediately scrambled fast response units. But reinforcements were at least 30 minutes out, and on the deck of the Liberty Star, 30 minutes felt like a lifetime. The crew knew they had to hold the line, no matter the cost. Then, something shifted. A group of pirates attempted to storm the bridge, aiming to seize control of navigation and communications. But inside, a team of Navy officers had fortified the entrance. A brutal standoff ensued, gunfire tearing through bulkheads, shouts echoing down corridors. One young sailor, barely in his 20s, risked his life by locking himself in the engine room to keep the ship moving forward, preventing the attackers from cutting power. His courage ensured the vessel wouldn't be left adrift, easy prey for the enemy. Meanwhile, on the deck, a team of sailors counterattacked with remarkable precision. Using tactics drilled into them countless times, they began to push the pirates back toward the skiffs. The pirates, realizing their window of success was closing, grew more frantic. They detonated small explosives to sow panic, but the Navy crew's discipline never faltered. Inch by inch, the invaders were forced into retreat. Finally, the distant roar of helicopters broke through the chaos. Reinforcements had arrived. From above, Navy MH-60 Seahawks swooped in, their rotors whipping the sea into white spray. Elite SEALs fast roped onto the ship, instantly overwhelming the remaining pirates with superior firepower and training. The tide turned completely. Within minutes, the surviving attackers were subdued, bound, and secured. Others fled back to their skiffs, only to be intercepted by patrol boats closing in from all sides. The sea that had once been their hunting ground became their prison. When the smoke cleared, the deck was scarred. Bullet holes riddled the walls, and the air still stank of gunpowder. But the USS Liberty Star remained afloat, defiant. The crew, though shaken, stood tall. They had faced a sudden, ruthless assault and held their ground until help arrived. The ship's cargo, medical supplies, ammunition, and vital communications equipment remained secure. Not a single crate had been taken, and not a single inch of the ship was surrendered. News of the incident spread quickly across the world. Some saw it as a reminder of the growing threat of piracy in strategic waterways, while others marveled at the courage of ordinary sailors who had fought like warriors under impossible odds. Families back home wept with relief when they learned their loved ones had survived. Politicians issued statements of condemnation, vowing to crush the networks behind the attack. And intelligence agencies immediately launched investigations into who had funded and planned the assault, knowing that this was no random act of desperation. For the crew, however, the aftermath was quieter. As they sailed onward, patched wounds and replaced broken equipment, they reflected on what had happened. Each man and woman aboard knew they had faced death that day, but also knew they had stood united. Bonds forged in battle are stronger than steel, and the Liberty Star became more than just a cargo ship. It became a symbol of resilience. The pirates had hoped to send a message of fear, but instead, they had awakened a storm of resolve. Naval presence in the region was intensified, patrols increased, and the shadowy financiers behind the attack would soon find themselves hunted. The world of piracy, once shrouded in impunity, was now facing a reckoning. And all of it began with a single ship that refused to yield, even when surrounded and stormed.